This is a review of my Texas Pride 7x14 dump trailer that I just picked up. This is the second trailer I've had from them. Overall, pretty happy with them. They just need some work, and you know, they're not perfect. So, but the price is good, and they're easy to work with, and they get you a trailer quick. So, and they'll put in the work for sure. So, starting off, we'll start here in the front and kind of work our way back. Every one of them uses the telescopic cylinder. Pretty much lift anything you want. You never have a problem with that. They use the same size cylinder on all their dump trailers, and until you go to like the dual cylinder or anything like that. So they don't get any bigger than a 4-inch. Only drawback to this is they use, I already swapped them out, or at least the top ones I swapped. I gotta do the bottom still. They put grade 5 bolts in these, so that's a big problem. The other issue is that they also use a size too small, so I always go up in the size. You know, grade 5 maybe be just fine. You know, another guy's YouTube video, you know, it is in a saddle down there and whatnot, and to kind of hold it in, and up here too, so it's not, doesn't have all the pressure, but you know, that's your highest point of stress on the whole trailer, and that's something I definitely wouldn't want failing. Even if the, you know, engineering is right on it. So I always swap those out. You know, that's just something that, you know, kind of bothers me. It doesn't cost that much more to put in. So toolbox, pretty basic. You got your pump, battery. I started to get the wireless remote. Those are really nice, save you a lot of time. Great feature. New this year, they started putting in GPS trackers in them. Free of charge. You get the first year of service for free, and then you got to pay for it. But I thought that was a good thing. You know, not a great spot, but where else are you going to put it? You know, at least for now. Maybe I'll relocate it somewhere where it's hidden. You know, we'll see if they're any good, and you know, if it's not too expensive a year, that'd be great, so the trailer doesn't get stolen there. I thought that was just something, you know, nice free thing they started doing. Start off, now you can see right here, it's a little bit wider on that side, and same thing on the other. So first out, I thought it was bent, but I guess it's on the axle configuration. With the 9K, they go a little bit wider, so you get you know, 81.5 inches inside of the bed versus 80. So I thought that's a little bit better, not as tight with a big skid steer in there. Moving back. This is the first two things. This is different because it's a little bit wider. It sits on this angle piece right here, as you can see. Now I could see that being a wear point, so I'm going to get some rubber stops for that. You know, they may not last that long, and we'll have to replace them, but at least it'll prevent this square tube and frame rotting out and getting rubbed on. Spare tire mount. I usually have enough spares, so I usually don't get another one, but this thing's a little bit too thinly made. On the 16K, it just bent like this from back and forth with the heavy tire. And I can only imagine, you know, the 17.5s, those are real heavy. We have a couple trailers like that. They do have a bend back here, which would help the support, but what we're going to do is I'm going to put some triangle plates to the frame there, and that should solve that problem. Not a big deal. Moving back, you got pretty standard fenders there. Like I said, 17.5-inch rims, 9K axles, Chinese tires. We'll see how these 16 plies work out. The 14s on the 16K were junk. I mean, they lasted for probably 6 months, 8 months, but you know, after that, that was about it. So it is what it is. Greasable right down there, which is real nice. I like that. Another thing they added was these little J-hooks on the side here, as you can see. Good for tarp securement. I thought that was a nice thing. Now this trailer I didn't get ramps on, so it's a little bit different back here, but you have this latch here. These are what holds your doors back when you open. I don't really like that it's one piece only, but on the last trailer it seemed to work just fine. I never order the spreader gate because spreading with the dump trailer is pretty much useless. So I always just get the barn door. Coming to the bed here, I always do the 3/16 floor and sides. It always works out pretty good that way. It is mild steel, so I mean, it's still real soft. I hate to say it. So it will dent if you don't be careful with it. Last one had a 3-foot side, so now I did a 2-foot. Maybe that'll help with dumping concrete in here and whatnot, and et cetera, et cetera. Other thing I had him do was put the D-rings on the walls. We barely haul equipment in the dump trailer anyway, but it's good to have them. But on the floor they get clogged and material gets stuck in them, so I like to avoid that. Going forward, this is another thing that I like to do is if you can see, they only spot weld, you know, on the floor there, and I don't really like that, so I fully weld the whole thing all the way around. I weld the whole thing up, and it's just, you know, prevent your water getting in there and make it a little bit stronger maybe, and maybe it's not needed, but especially where the sheets meet in this area right here, in that area right there, that's where the most important spot is, because there's a gap where the sheets overlap. So that's that. Like I said, this trailer I don't have ramps on because the same issue. They have the pieces that come out usually, and you just get them clogged with rocks and you have to beat them out, and it's always a problem. So we just avoided that, and we have aluminum ramps that we're using on this trailer that are going to be I had to put a rod and a piece of angle iron so the rock will slide through, but you can see we have aluminum ramps, and these are lighter anyway. They're just good ramps. Texas Pride doesn't offer these anymore, but there's a lot of companies that sell them, and I love the aluminum ramps. They work very good. They're just easier on the body, you know, and they do the same thing, and they're strong, and they're a little bit wider too and whatnot, depending on which ones you get. So with that being said, that made that bottom light piece a 2x4 tube, so it gives you a lot more room when you're on a hill or you're trying to, you know, do some sketchy dumping. And sometimes you'll scrape on the ground and you ruin what you're doing, or ruin your fabric or anything like that. So that's definitely a nice thing that's going to sit off the ground a little bit. Now, how will I store the ramps? I'll still have to come up with a way to do that, you know, because that would also cut into my scraping down there if I have to put 2 spots for ramps down there. Another thing they changed, which was nice, now that has a hole in it right there. Same problem, material would get stuck in there and you'd have issues. So that's a nice thing. We cut those out, but now it's done yourself, so that's good news. This was what I was saying on the welding in the back. You can see how you have a big gap right there. We're just gonna close that. You know, overall, there's the pretty basic ramp gates and whatnot. Now, coming to another problem we have is you'll never get one of these trailers without some type of issue. So this time we had a wiring light problem here, and there was a clip down here that was welding and somehow got smashed. Anyway, it caused the issue, and it's got, now this wiring harness has a cut in it, and I got it dangling here because I got to put a new clip on and whatnot, and which is kind of disappointing on a new trailer, but good news, Texas Pride will mail me one right out, and I'll put it on and, you know, correct the issue right. And that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, it does suck, but these are production trailers, and things are bound to happen. That's for sure. No brand is immune to it. It's about how they make it right. Another thing they changed, they put the license plate down here on a decently beefy plate, so I'm happy about that. Used to be under there where the lights were, but it's the same problem. You get rocks under it and just have issues. So glad they changed that. Let me shut these real quick, or open them up, because we're going to put the bed up here, and you can see these latches just go back like that, and then they lock. It's a little bit pressure, you feel like, just on one point, but we have yet to rip one off, so I think they work just fine. Sometimes that one of them gets a little stuck every once in a while, but we just WD-40 and it seems to do the trick no problem. So overall, pretty decent trailer. The paint is not going to be ideal, you know, it does not the greatest. Good news is it's enamel, so you touch it right up and, you know, you're good to go. And most of the welds are pretty good on this trailer. You know, there's obviously a little bit of a spatter and whatnot, and I mean, you already got a little bit of rust, and I mean, it is what it is. I mean, these things get abused every day. So we're gonna put it up in the air here. Got the wireless remote here. Now, it's reasonably fast. Now, they do use a smaller pump. It's a 1.7 GPM versus Diamond C. Now their standard is 2 GPM a minute from KTI pumps. So this one takes about 50 seconds to put all the way up in the air. So 25% savings, you know, on your efficiency going up to that 2 GPM. I mean, that'll save you some time if you're really running loads, but just depends on how you look at it. They're all going to lift the same, so you know, just something to think about if you want to go a little bit faster there. Now coming down here to the bottom here, now this is where I did a couple things a little different. So one thing I didn't necessarily like is how they have just a channel right here crossed versus they didn't use more of the square tube. I was figuring the whole frame would have been that square tube, especially this is your most strenuous part of the trailer right here. So wasn't a fan of that too much, but I think we'll survive, or I'm going to put another piece of channel inside of that, and that'll remedy the issue there. Moving this way, so one of these issues with these trailers is, now I haven't seen one, but I bet there's some out there where they'll crack right here at the frame where the one meets and the other one ends. And now I haven't seen it, but I've seen a couple bent trailers and whatnot, and I could see it happening. So originally I had an idea, you know, they put a triangular plate right here and solve that problem. But then the engineers, Texas Pride, they said they do this sometimes too. They put a 5-inch piece of channel all the way down, and then they put a block at the end there, and then the hinges are a little bit wider on this trailer too. So that's also a nice feature because of the heavy weight. So that hopefully will fix that problem. Now I'm not a fan of it. Doesn't go very much past the you know, the lower frame, but you know, I think it's going to be better than nothing. And if it really becomes a problem, we're going to cut the fenders and we can put another triangular plate in the front here. Coming back to that 3/16 and the mild steel floor and sides and how they're real soft. So I don't know if you can notice here, but we got a lot of cross members, and we have 8-inch on centers on these all the way up the trailer. So there's quite a few. Is, you know, the same amount as you had on a semi trailer. Now I'm hoping that'll help with boulders and other heavy stuff like that. So we don't have a problem there. And that was a cheap upgrade. You know, $200 extra on top of the 12-inch, so $600 total. And I thought that was reasonable for that, because I asked them if they could do an AR 400 floor or anything like that, and there's only one brand out there that does that, and that's Brazos Trailers, and they build semi trailers. But really love that trailer, but you can't get any heavier. You can only get 7K axles, and there's no options or anything, but it does have that AR 400 bed and sides, and you cannot damage that thing. It's the same thing as, you know, what's in the semi trailers that we got from them, so it's strong, needless to say. But it's got its own problems also, and I'll be posting a review of that also here soon, so you can see kind of some different brands, because I've had every one except PJ and Big Tex, because I know they're no good. 4-inch axle tubes, spring axle or spring hangers on it. You know, don't know what size brakes. They seem to be plenty strong enough. Don't know if they're self-adjusting or there's adjustment on there or not. Overall, looks like a pretty solid trailer. Welds are decent. Like I said, you're just willing to do a couple things on it and really make the difference on it, and be a awesome trailer to use and put to work. And more than anything, like I said, Texas Pride, they're still made locally in Texas there, and they're a good price on their trailers, and good customer service. And you know, you just be okay with working on them, and you know, you're gonna have to do some welding every once in a while on some hinges, and I think it'll last years to come. And you know, we'll keep buying from Texas Pride for, you know, some of what we get. I have them all, the Diamond C's and everything, and the Diamond C's just, you know, 18,000. They're just not worth it, you know. My money just goes a lot farther with one of these Texas Prides, and you know, that's all that matters nowadays, is, you know, trying to keep as much in my pocket as I can. So that's my review of the Texas Pride 7x14. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We'll have more videos coming out of other, you know, pieces of equipment we have, and kind of reviews of what we've been using them for, and you know how they worked out for us, and kind of get to know some jobs too and whatnot, and kind of go from there. Thank you for watching.